I am Ryan, the Life Changer, and I am so grateful that you decided to join me today. This podcast is called Unlock the Power of Your Mind. Let me ask you a question. Are you ready for your life to change? Are you ready to unlock the power of your mind? Are you ready to be the best version of you possible? I want to help you. I want this podcast to give new, positive meanings to the difficult times that you faced in your life. And I want to help you become the best version of you possible. This is your time. The change is happening for you now. I know you're ready. Let's help today to change your life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining me for another episode of Unlock the Power of Your Mind. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a guest with me today that is going to share his very unique perspective on not only how to overcome adversity, but he's an expert in helping others reach their peak. He is Guy Delcorso. He's a trainer, a prep coach, and the Northeast Regional Judge and Expediter for the NPC and the IFBB, which is the highest professional rank that somebody can reach in bodybuilding. So, Guy, very excited and honored to have you on today. How are you, my friend?
I'm very good. Thank you very much, Ryan. Right? Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So that the listeners can kind of feel a little bit more connected with you, Guy, dive into a little bit of your early childhood, just real quick, kind of how you grew up, high school, and let the listeners connect with you.
All right. Okay. I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey. I went through all the Paterson school systems, naturally. I actually started working out, I guess I was about 14. And I ran across a Joe Weider. At that time, they weren't even Muscle and Fitness. They were called Muscle Builder magazines. And I was always kind of a little chubby kid growing up. My father had a heart attack when I was about 14 years old. So we kind of had to change our whole policy on foods. You know, I come from an Italian background, so naturally we ate a lot of fried foods, pastas, breads like that. And so now my mother found herself making more fish, chicken, vegetables, and, you know, my father had to lose weight, so the whole house lost weight. And, you know, I found myself, hey, you know, I'm starting to get in shape here. So I picked up this muscle magazine, and I started doing everything Arnold did. Because Arnold, Franco, you know, all the guys from the golden era, they were the only one in the magazine. So I started doing exercises that they did, and you know, I kind of dug it. I mean, it was good stuff. It was something different than I was used to, you know, playing baseball, football, and basketball. And I kind of liked being different, you know, Ryan. I kind of really liked being different. And I was watching myself transform in the mirror, and it was a really good feeling not being that fat, four-eyed kid no more, you know. So, you know, I just started doing it, taking it to a different level. And a friend of mine around the corner seen what I was doing. He wanted to come downstairs. We started working out in my grandfather's basement. And, you know, one thing led to the other. And before you know, we had 3 or 4 friends down there. We started putting our money together. And we started buying little odds and ends, different bars, different weights, and stuff like that. And then, before you know it, I had a whole bunch of guys wanting to come down. My grandmother started getting a little aggravated with the traffic coming in and out of her house. So, yeah. Well, you know how them Italian grandmothers are. So we got ourselves a little garage, and we started putting a whole bunch of equipment together. And before you know, we had 30, 40 guys coming to the garage. And then I kind of went into the next step, which was a key club where I had 100 guys. So I started progressing along the way. Before you knew it, I had my own gym. I had a 2,500 square foot gym with 500 members in it.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and this was a time when, you know, bodybuilding wasn't like it is now. I mean, the fitness industry now is just nuts. I mean, there's a gym on every corner. Everybody works out, you know. It wasn't like that then. It was very, when I first started, it was kind of like weird to people, you know, guys walking around with muscles. It wasn't, to me, it was an art. It was like an art for me. It was like something that every time I did it, I got a rush, I got a high, I just loved everything about it, and it just brought me to a whole different level. And that's when I started competing myself. And I did very well. I mean, I won Mr. New Jersey in 1988. I didn't go much higher than that. Unfortunately, my genetics weren't the greatest. So I went to the national level, but I never received my pro card.
Gotcha.
But, yeah.
Guy, let me stop you there because you touched on something that I think was almost kind of a foreshadowing for how you're helping people now. It sounded like when you were younger, you were kind of the ringleader of the group. You had your friends coming over, and then you guys got the garage. Is that accurate? Were you the one that kind of got everybody?
Yeah, I kind of put the whole thing together, Ryan. I have to say that in my whole life, God made I got to be honest with you. God is a big, big, important part in my life, and I believed from the beginning of my childhood that God always has a plan, and that if you have God, if you have trust in God, all things are possible. So, I was never reluctant or hesitant on taking a shot. You follow what I'm saying?
Amen.
So I never was like, oh my God, what if I do this? I never thought that way. I'll tell you, as we go on in the stories, there was decisions I had to make that I took bodybuilding first because I'm a firm believer in passion. And to me, passion is something that never leaves your mind, not for a second. And bodybuilding from 14 years old till now, it's never left my mind. I'm always thinking about how I can help my client better, how I can make things work better. At 63 years old, I'm still eating like I did when I competed. I mean, it's a passion. And when God gives you that passion, there's no greater gift back to him than doing what he's blessed you with. So
yeah, I'm with you. 100%. And that passion for the listeners could be anything. It could be art, it could be music, it could be bodybuilding, it could be sports, it could be helping people in some other capacity, right?
Well, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, if I don't know, doing nails is your passion and that never leaves you, and you always want to make your customer feel better, that's your passion, you got to do it. Whether you can make more money to being a doctor or a lawyer, but your passion is, I don't know, doing nails, then you got to chase your passion, man. That's the gift that God's given you. And I guarantee no matter what, eventually you will be the greatest at it. And it will suffice your income. It'll give you what you need. That's how I look at that,
Awesome.
Yeah.
So take the listeners from there. You've built yourself up to the 2,500 square foot gym.
Yeah.
The bodybuilding kind of capped out for you personally. Did you then start getting into coaching, or walk us through the story?
Well, once I got to the part of the bodybuilding and, kind of got to the level where, okay, I think now it's time to turn my, my energy somewhere else. I got into a position where the gym business started now tough to compete in. You know what I mean? And it was more or less I was struggling to make ends meet. I took on a job, and I still owned the gym. I took on a job, and I didn't want it to end. But then, lo and behold, I got an offer from somebody that wanted to buy my gym. So I sold the gym. I sold my business at the time. And a friend of mine, Bob Lee, who was an Olympic lifter years ago, was running a personal training program at Jack LaLanne. It wasn't even Bally's yet. It was still Jack LaLanne.
We're dating ourselves here for all the listeners.
It was European Health Spa, then Jack LaLanne took over. But so he asked me to come down, and he wanted me to be part of this brand new program that the health spas and all of this was going to run. I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. I came down, I went down, and I went to his class. I think I had to go to his class for 2 weeks. Then we graduated and we had a personal training degree. And he put me in a club in Livingston And I'll tell you, Ryan, it spread like wildfire. I mean, I had to be doing 50 to 60 training sessions a week. I was voted Jack Lane's trainer of the year, and I was getting all kind of bonuses, and I was getting this, and I was getting that. I mean, I was totally blessed. I mean, I even had outside clients that I was going to their homes, and my wife and myself, we saved enough money to buy our first home through personal training. So this went on. Now, from there, I went to different gyms. I left Jack Lane. I worked for Gold's Gym. I worked for a bunch of major gyms again. And then what happened was I kind of got, I guess, I don't want to say sick of the personal training business, but I guess I got that spark in me that I wanted to open up a gym again. So I trained this young athlete from Rutgers. He was a wide receiver, very, very talented guy. And his father loved me, and we opened up a gym together. Then before you know it, I was in the gym business again, and I did very well. Again, I was doing very well again. Now what happened? Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, Retro, they opened up, put me out of business again. I couldn't compete with that $10 a month stuff. I was a mom and pop gym, 5,000 square feet. That's about all I had. So from there, I went back into personal training again. And I went into a high-end place this time where they were paying me very well. Now, I don't know if you want me to continue with my medical experiences. Do you want me to continue with that, or?
Yeah, I think, Guy, let's pause here for a second, because it's a powerful message, right? How you kind of weaved in and out. So, sometimes when we are on the path to reach our goals, we get some false starts, and we get sometimes frustrated along the way, right? You had the gym, you went to the, and then you went away from it. And then things get going real good. You bought the home, then you get the gym again, and then it doesn't work out. What, if you could go back and tell yourself something then, knowing what you know now, what advice would you give yourself?
Well, I would, what I know now is the fact, you see, listen, I believe this. I believe I always had God. I really do. I always had God in my life. But I believe as the years went on and the circumstances that I'm going to touch on as we continue to speak, now God controls me. So where I mean God controls me, I don't get upset because I know something good is going to come out of something bad. Follow me?
Yes.
Something good is going to come out of, like, in other words, God puts you through troubled waters because your enemies can't swim. So I totally believe in that, and back then I had my faith, but I was like everybody else. Why are you doing this to me? I don't deserve this. I don't deserve that. But you know what, Ryan? Every time I turned around, he was making a different road and a better road for me. I just at that time couldn't see what I see now, I think that's what you're asking me, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's easy to connect the dots looking backwards. It's not so easy when we're in troubled waters or looking forward to connect those dots.
Yeah. That's correct. And now it's a whole, I guess you can say at 63, I think it all happened at around 59, 60, where I was lost, but then now I'm found, because now I found out what the word life really means. I mean, it's an amazing experience what I went through in my past 4 years of my life.
Right.
Amazing. So it's crazy.
Yeah. So let's dive into the medical, kind of some of those trials and tribulations that you faced.
All right. Okay. I was up at this place called the Gym up in Montvale, New Jersey. Very high-end gym. People were paying, I don't know, $120, $125 an hour for personal training. I came up there, and naturally, I'm the new guy on the block. I was kind of shunned to the side, this and that. You're a bodybuilder. You're never going to make no money up here. Well, lo and behold, let's fast forward. I started doing 70 to 75 sessions a week. And they were paying me 60% of that. So I was making crazy money, and but I was knocking myself out, right? I mean, I was working 7 days a week, 4, 5, 6 months straight. But in our situation, we needed the money. My wife, myself, my family, we needed the money. So I was doing what I was doing. But then one day, September 12th, 2015, I had a massive heart attack where there was no stents being able to put in or anything like that. And I had a quadruple bypass performed on September 14th. They could not operate on me the following day because my heart was so severely damaged, they had to leave me on a pump.
Oh my gosh. Any warning signs leading up to this?
Couple weeks before, I could feel different, lethargic. Nothing that I thought was all right. I'm just tired. I was working a lot, and I was, that kind of stuff, but nothing crazy. I came home. It was a Saturday. I'll never forget it. I laid down. I woke up and I told my wife I don't feel good, and she looked at me and she says to me, "You're gray. We got to go to the hospital." I said, "Okay. I have to tell you, I think I'm having a heart attack." And that's what I told her. So we went to the hospital, and that's when they said, "Okay." They did they did all the tests, and I had a massive heart attack. I needed a quadruple bypass. That was performed, like I said, on Monday because they had to leave me on a pump on Sunday. And they told me that my back side of my heart had completely died. There was no blood. It was just dead tissue. So my heart was beating about 35 out of 65% of the way it's supposed to.
Oh my
gosh. Guy from Italy came in, brand new surgeon, was one of the world renowned heart specialists, operated on my heart, and he told me that my heart would probably go back up to 60%. That's how confident he was. Now, I'm in the hospital, and I don't know if any of the listeners out there know what it's like to have open heart surgery, but it's pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, you need somebody to help you get up. You need somebody to help you put you in bed, somebody to take you to the bathroom. And this goes on for a couple months. You can't do this without help. So, but I want to tell you something. I was so at peace when I went down for my surgery. I wasn't nervous. I knew it was in God's hands. And, my wife says to me, "You're not nervous." I said, "No, I'm not nervous. All good's going to come out of this. No matter what happens, all good's going to come out of this." And, I came back. And the guy did a great job, great job. I was in a hospital for 8 days, had a little kidney dysfunction, but they corrected it. I went home. October 31st, Halloween night, I felt like somebody was stabbing me in the lower abdomen. Got rushed back to the hospital again. Kidney stones. They take the kidney stones out. My cardiologist tells me the next day, "Well, they found a little lesion on your bladder." I said, "All right, but nothing to worry about," he says to me. Okay, so I don't worry about it, right? Now, when they took the kidney stones out, they had put a stent in my kidney, naturally, and I had to go get that removed. I went to the doctor that did it, and he told me that the report came back, a biopsy, the lesion, and the lesion was stage 4, high aggressive bladder cancer. And I said, "Wait a minute, wait, you got the wrong guy. I just had open heart surgery, quadruple bypass. Mr. Delcorso, you have high-grade cancer." Now, again, I'm sure there's people out there listening to this that when they receive that word, I can't even explain to you what that feels like, all right? And so I don't listen to this guy. I got to go to somebody else. A friend of mine recommended a couple people I go see. I found a guy over in Hackensack Hospital. I'm going to say his name because we became great friends, Kevin Baslarian. He's head of oncology and urology over there. And since then, he saved my bladder. I didn't have to have my bladder removed. I have what's called immune therapy. I went in, and I guess that December of 15, Been treated ever since. This has been the longest now that I didn't need any chemo. I was down 150 pounds. I put a gym here in my garage. I started working out. I'm back up to 190. I'm working out every single day. I feel better than I ever did. Naturally not as strong as when I was 30 years old, but
Sure.
yeah. But I mean, by the grace of God, he's given me everything and more back in my life that you can imagine. Miracles beyond miracles. I can't even explain. And
Yeah. I mean,
I can't.
you being alive this day is a miracle after, quadruple bypass and stage 4 bladder cancer. So what was stage 4, like that's extremely serious. What was,
Yeah, you're pretty much done. It's pretty much done.
yeah. So what happened there? Like, walk the listeners through kind of in a little bit more detail as to how you were able to overcome that with the help of the doctor.
Well, this is what he said to me. He said, this is not going to be easy. This is probably going to be the hardest thing and most painful thing you ever went through in your life, he said. But if you listen to what I tell you, I think we got a shot. I think we got a shot at saving your bladder and saving you. I said, okay, what do I got to do? He says, first thing you got to do is come in. I'm going to remove the tumor out of your bladder. He says, and hopefully when I remove the tumor, there'll be some fleshy pink stuff that I pull out. That means it did not go through yet. If it does go through, that means it's in your prostate and it'll be in your lymph nodes. But thank God it didn't. Now you got to remember, Ryan, if it wasn't for this heart attack, I would have never known I had cancer. Think about that.
Wow.
Think about that miracle in itself right there. So that heart attack was a miracle for me. I look at it as a gift. I look at my heart attack as a gift because if I didn't have that heart attack, they would have never found the cancer. And who knows what would happen, So the procedure is with a catheter. Every time I go with a catheter, they have to go through and they put it into my bladder. They drain my bladder and then they pump a virus called tuberculosis into my bladder. Now that tuberculosis builds up my immune system to fight the cancer cells.
Wow.
Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, they're putting I mean, for the listeners out there, when I hear tuberculosis, I'm thinking that's a very bad thing.
Yeah, exactly. But it's to a confined area now, remember, all right?
Sure.
So now they leave that in me for 2 hours. Now, when I come home, nobody can use the same bathroom as me. I have to sit down to go to the bathroom so I don't, splash any germs or anything like that. And it's when after 14 hours, my wife has to totally bleach down the whole bathroom. Now, when I first started that treatment, it was done once a week for 6 weeks. When I come home from the hospital, it doesn't immediately hit me, but then I get every chemo effect that you can imagine. High fevers, nausea, whatever it is. And I lived through that for 8 hours, at least 8 hours. And then all of a sudden it kind of subsides. But every time I have to go to the bathroom, it's like somebody got a blowtorch coming out of there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That's how bad it is. Yes. So he told me this, but he told me all of this, but hey, listen, I relate a lot of things to the Bible, and the more suffering, the more greater the reward. This is how I look at life. The more you suffer, the greater the reward you're going to get. Right. So through this whole thing, I mean, first it was once a week for 6 weeks. Then I got 2 months off. I went through that for 1 year straight. Then it went down to once a week for 3 weeks. Then I went through that for the second year. The third year, same thing. Now I'm in my 4th year. I got to be honest with you, Ryan. I can't remember the last time I had a treatment. So, and every time I go, there's no cancer. It's a miracle, bro.
Wow.
It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. So, it's just amazing how God works. It's amazing. It's just amazing to me, It really is.
Amen.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Guy, during this time where you're going through all the treatments now, are you able to work out, or this is where you're dropping down to the 140?
Well, when I was going through all the treatments with the heart and what do you call it? It's funny because every denomination of religion at one time or another, or sometimes all at once, was sitting in my living room, from a rabbi to a Christian minister to a Catholic priest to anything that had to do with God. Evangelist, there was an evangelist here. I mean, sometimes all of them were here. And I don't know how that all happened. I swear to you, I don't know how. I had one guy, a friend of mine was a priest. He called me from the Vatican. It was almost like no matter what, God was sending me a message. Everything's going to be okay, but here's the deal. You're going to work for me now. I'm going to make you better, but you're going to work for me. And since that day, I use my bodybuilding. I use it in a way of his ministry. It's what drives me to do better every single day. And I feel even at 63 years old, I know I can still do better. I can still do better for him, which in turn, I know he's going to bless me and do better for me. So I think my faith in God is what really, really I did more than anything through that whole convalescing. I mean, there was times, bro, I'm not going to lie to you. I thought I seen him. I thought he visited me. I could be crazy. It could be from
Not
the Del
crazy at
Lauren.
all, no.
It could be from the Del Lauren, but I believe there was one episode. I walked into the kitchen one day. I needed to get a glass of water. And I looked at the window, and this ray of sunshine just came in through the window. And it shined right in my face and then went away. I mean, how do you explain that? I can't. That's not like a cloud going in front of the sun. That's not true. It was almost like you're going to be okay, man. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, he was shining, wanted to let you know that he was shining down on you.
I'm telling you.
And so, Guy, for the listeners, you and I are both men of faith, and I believe in God. For maybe the listeners and their own interpretation of their higher power, what advice or actionable strategies do you have, maybe of what you did? What are some specific things that you did to keep yourself connected to your higher power?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I start my day with meditation every day. Every day I get up. If I have a client at 8 o'clock, I'll be up by 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I have a little office where I go and I read some books of affirmation. I say my prayers, but more importantly, I shout out to about 150 people every morning with a prayer or an affirmation or something that's going to make them start their day in a positive way. Because I believe no matter what your higher power is, what you believe in, whether it's Allah, Buddha, Muhammad, or whatever it is, you need to speak to that higher power every day to get your day started the right way. And it means not rushing, take your time. You got to get up a little earlier, okay, but spend that time because it's always going to set your day in such a better, positive way. That's what I've been doing since the day all of this stuff happened to me.
Nice.
It's what I do, bro. And you know what? It works for me. I don't know if, there's days I want to stay in bed that extra hour, but I know that, I need to do what I need to do because I know it's going to work for me the rest of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, amen. I do the same thing. So now let's dive into the perspective that I'm really excited to get into here, which is how you are now able to connect the adversity that you overcame, your passion, and helping others and being of service to others, in guiding professional athletes, because anybody that's gotten ready for a bodybuilding show, or maybe somebody that's just kind of looked to transform their health and wellness, knows that the journey is not easy. There's a lot of ups and downs and distractions. How do you combine your passion, your service, and your faith together to help individuals?
Well, it's kind of funny because, I opened up this little, I don't know, I call it my little gym, I call it. It's called the little gym. And I'm fortunate that I pretty much got a lot of professional bodybuilders combined with regular people. I mean, and they all come here, and, it's almost like I combined the mind, body, and soul type of thing here. And it seems like every single one of them are hurting some way or another, So I try to not only just make their body better, but I try to lift up their spirits and their mind, because that's your mind is what controls this whole process. I mean, if you have a positive mind, then you're going to be a champ. But if you come in here and you're negative all the time, oh, this hurts, that hurts, or, so my process is to get you into a positive mode when you walk in my gym. Hey, how you doing? I'm never, I'm always up. I'm always positive. I'm always talking positive. I kind of cheated on my diet. It's all right. It's okay you cheated on your diet. Now we're going to start over today. Or, I missed the workout last week. I'm so mad. I'm not going to be mad about it. Yeah, it's always positive vibes, Ryan. It's always positive. And that's the way I try to keep it with every single athlete. And when I'm telling you, I'm going to name some people, and I'm sure some people out there know these names, like Derek Lunsford, Flex Lewis, Phil Heath, Juan Morale. I can keep going. Angelica, Texera, she's Miss Bikini, Olympia, as Phil Heath. And, these are people that look to me. I brought Phil Heath. I must have talked to Phil Heath every single day about the power of God before his bodybuilding show, because, okay, he came in second. He didn't win. But let me tell you something. That man learned a whole new lesson about life by coming in second place. He learned all about positivity and who's helping him and who's behind him, And that's kind of what I do, man. I mean, I don't know. What do you call yourself? What do you call yourself? The life
Ryan,
changer?
the life changer.
I guess maybe that's what I'm kind of trying to do a little bit out of this little garage that I do.
Yeah, no, I love it. And I think that you touched on something so important that I identify with, which is, and we'll take it out of fitness for a second and, come up from a higher vantage point. In any time in life when we're looking to make a change, sometimes it's important to step outside ourselves and say, like, hey, why is it that I'm looking to make this change? And is there pain somewhere else in my life that is causing me to want to make a change in another area? Because I can make a change in one area, right? Let's say you have a guy come to you, a male come to you, and they want to put on muscle and do their first show. But if it was because they got bullied and picked on for being skinny when they were younger, and they don't have the self-confidence, guess what? That self-confidence has to come from the inside. No matter how much muscle you have, that's never going to truly make you feel confident in yourself,
That's
right?
correct. Yes, sir.
And if a female was in an abusive relationship, whether that be physically or emotionally, and maybe lost her sense of beauty, doesn't matter how great a shape you get into and how many people tell you that you look good. If you don't look in the mirror and truly love yourself on your best day and on your worst day, then you're never going to truly love yourself, right?
You know what, Ryan? I think this is what as I'm listening to you, and you're sorting things out like that. When I sit back and I say to myself, okay, what I went through in my childhood, where I was a heavy kid, and then I became, in shape. I did something about it. I can help people like that, right? I can help people because I've been there. I did that. And then as time went on, I lost my father very young. So I know what it's like to lose a parent young. So there's another area I can help people in. You know, I grew up in a pretty rough town. Patterson's a pretty rough town, you know, and so I know what it's like not to have. You know, I grew up in an apartment house. I know what it's like not to have. You know, me and my wife were married 37 years, but you know, we went through our stuff too. You know, we were separated for a while. You know, unfortunately, you know, something happened where she had found somebody else for a while, but lo and behold, God brought us back together again, and our marriage is better than ever. You know, and vice versa. I mean, we all go through it, but these are all like all these things, losing my business, and you know, Ryan, I'm going to tell you something that I don't share with a lot of people, but maybe I can help somebody out there by this. You know, going through that whole medical process, I couldn't pay my mortgage. There was no way I could pay my mortgage. There was no way. We're going to lose our home. We're going to lose our home, and we have a beautiful home here. And I had met a fella who was very wealthy. I didn't know this. I was training him at the time, and his wife had just died of cancer, and I told him that I had cancer. So he was naturally sympathetic to all of that. And we became very good friends because he had just lost her. So I was always there. And I'm the type of trainer. You can call me on the phone. We can talk. It don't always have to be about training. I mean, it could be about real life things that maybe I can help you out with, you know. And he said to me, well, how much money do you need? He said to me, now, Ryan, I never met this guy. Maybe I know him 2 months, right?
Wow.
I said to him, no, Ed, listen, you can't help. Yeah, I'm a banker. I might be able to help. Listen, my mortgage, this, that, $25,000. I'm in a hole. My credit is horrible. I'm never going to be able to get a loan. Well, fast forward, the guy came in with a check for $25,000, and he gave it to me.
Oh my God.
Gave it to me. Didn't ask for anything back. I said, I can't accept this. Yes, you can. So anyway, long story short, he gave me the check. Now I come home and tell my wife all about this. She's all elated, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to pay the mortgage off. Well, now what happens is my daughter needs money. Her and her husband need some money, all right? And what do? You can't turn your daughter away, right?
Sure.
So now I give the money to my daughter. And my wife says, well, what are we going to do now? I kept 5,000 of it in case we had to move. I would have enough money to get, you know, moving and get an apartment, because that's what I thought was going to happen. Now, this story I just told you, I told another one of my clients. Well, guess what? That client, now you got to remember now that the time has gone on. So the mortgage went up from 25,000, now it's 50. So she says to me, well, how much money do you need? And I said, well, I need a lot of money. Well, what's a lot of money? And I told her 50,000. She said, well, that's not a lot of money. Find out the woman is an oil tycoon. She owns an oil company here in town, right? She gives me a check for $50,000, gives it to me, and tells me, all I want you to do is train me for the rest of my life. I said, you got a deal. That's all. Now, if anybody's listening to me out there, this is not hogwash. This is not baloney. It's almost like God dropped $75,000 out of the sky for me. I think the first one, I don't want to say was a test, but I think he wanted to see, okay, am I going to keep the money, or am I going to give it to my daughter who really needed the money? So, You follow me? There are miracles beyond miracles if you believe. If you believe that you're a good person and you do all good stuff and you're paying it forward and you're doing this, whatever my higher power is God, Jesus Christ. But whatever your person that's listening out there believes in, whatever they believe in, let me tell you something. There's miracles out there that could happen. I don't tell too many people that story because they look at me like they think I'm full of baloney. But that's a true story. That's a true story. Well, and now, watch this. Now my life couldn't be better. My mortgage is paid off. And in between all that, I had to go for counseling. I went to this one guy who was trying to help me get the money any way he could. And it was I always ended up a dead end, always a dead end, always a dead end. I just kept praying, right? I just kept praying. And I kept telling my wife, God's got a plan, honey. Don't worry about it. He's got a plan. This is all going to work out. And guess what? Is that a miracle?
For sure. Wow,
So
that's incredible. I appreciate you sharing that story with the listeners and myself.
it's a miracle. I got it because, there's people out there right now that are saying, oh my God, what am I going to do? I can't pay my rent. I can't do this. I can't do that. There's miracles out there, man. Don't give up. Don't give up hope. Don't give up hope.
Yeah.
Keep praying.
Keep praying. And also, Guy, you lived a life of being of service to other people, and you continue to honor your higher power even at the lowest times, right? And so I
I
think
certainly did.
yeah.
Even when things were bad, I never
Yeah.
gave up. Never gave up. I
And,
couldn't.
and I think that's such a powerful message for the listeners, is that even, see, your higher power, whoever that may be, for you and I, it's God, Jesus Christ. The blessings that you're going to get in this life, right, or that the universe will bestow upon you, is not based upon what you do when everything is good. It's about what you do when you feel like you can't get back up because things have got you so
Amen.
down.
Amen. Amen. No, it's easy to pray when things are going good. It's easy then. It's you know what I mean? It's hard. It's hard to thank him when things aren't good. You know what I'm saying? When things aren't good, that's the time you really need to get down on your hands and knees, and you need to really ask for help. Because that's when he wants you to help. That's when whatever, like you said, the universe and in my position, God wants to help you. That's I can't stress it enough. I mean, and how he's changed my life and the people he's brought into my life. Ryan, I want you to know something. I've been blessed by a man named Steve Weinberger who works for the NPC IFBB. He's I guess you could say, my boss, so to speak, in my region. And there's, I don't know, 7 guys from the entire nation that are picked to go work the Mr. Olympia. And I will be going my 3rd time this year. I've been blessed to be working the Mr. Olympia, the highest title a bodybuilder could have, and be part of this thing that my job people dream about, just to have my job, never mind being competing, but to do what I do, to be part of the whole thing. I mean, I'm beyond blessed. I can't even explain. It's just an amazing, my life since my heart attack and my cancer, and giving my life over to my God has changed my whole life. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
Incredible. Well, that's why I really was so excited to have you on, and for the listeners to hear your story. And something good will come out of something bad. I mean, that is just so powerful. And Guy, share with the listeners how they can get in touch with you. Maybe they're in the tri-state area, or if not, I know you work with competitors all over, or individuals all over. How do they get in touch?
I have, I don't know if anyone follows Instagram out there. My Instagram is Guy Delcorso, NPC, GUYDELCORSO, N as in Nancy, P as in Paul, C as in Charlie, all one word. So you can, Instagram me and follow me if you like. Or, listen, I have no problem if you need to get in touch with me. My cell is 201-815-7217. I live in Hawthorne, New Jersey. If anybody's familiar with that, I do training here out of my home. But if you just want to call and talk, and whatever you need, I'm here 100%, 100% to try to help anybody. It's needs any kind of help, anything, with anything, nutrition, working out, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, whatever you need, I'm here.
Amen. Well, Guy, God bless you. Thank you so much for your time. It was a life-changing conversation for me, and some perspective that you shared, and I'm sure it will be for the listeners as well. So thank you so very much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on the show, Ryan. And you certainly are changing people's lives, my friend. You changed mine, and I only know you a short time. So God bless you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Guy. God bless.
Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast today. My prayer is that it has helped to change your life, to make a positive impact in your life. And I just want to let you know that every single day, the first goal that I write down is I have changed 1 million lives. So ladies and gentlemen, if this podcast helped to change your life today, I would ask you to please go on to iTunes, rate, review, and share this episode with somebody else who you know will benefit and have their life changed. Thank you again so very much. It means the world to me. Go out there and be great today. Make a positive impact in the world.